Live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue, this is the QTV Nightly News and I am Jules Denjai. Thank you for joining us. Here are tonight's headlines. The National Assembly has moved a step closer to repealing the country's environmental legal framework as lawmakers convene on Monday for the second reading of the National Environment Management Bill 2025. Now, following the Ministry of Trade's announcement that bread prices will rise from $10 to $12 from the 1st of July 2025, the National Bakers Association has assured the public of its commitment to comply with the agreed standard requirements for bread. On the commemoration of International Day of Parliamentarianism, the National Assembly member for Kiang West, Honorable Lamin Sisi, joined calls for fair representation of women in Parliament and for government to create more opportunities for Gambian women. On Saturday, the Gambia Start-up Chamber of Commerce and the Gambia Women's Chamber of Commerce launched Gambia's Good Market, a platform for creative and tourism sector entrepreneurs. In sports news, Doni FC are champions of the Sumakunda Youth and Sports Committee Nawetan title after defeating Tandigba United on penalties at the weekend. These and other stories coming ahead. Do stay tuned. Thank you very much for joining us. If you are just tuning in, this is the QTV Nightly News. Now, the National Assembly has moved a step closer to repealing the country's environmental legal framework as lawmakers convene on Monday for the second reading of the National Environment Management Bill 2025. As Alusise reports, the continuation of the consideration stage of the election bill was postponed.
The second reading of the National Environment Management Bill 2025 followed its first reading on June 16, 2025. Environment Minister Roy John Manjang is seeking the Parliament's consent to repeal the current National Environment Management Act to better address new and emerging gaps and realities affecting environmental management and protection systems.
Since 1994, both local and international environmental regulations, conventions, and policies have changed, or new ones emerge, thus creating gaps in the 1994 Act. The new NEMA 2025 bill is meant to cover these gaps and respond to new realities. Thus, the new bill will cover many areas which are not captured in the current NEMA Act, which includes regulation on population or wider regulation on population, sound chemical and pesticides management, mitigation on effective management of climate change, comprehensive community engagement and participation strategies, sustainable waste management that employ an integrated and macroeconomic perspective.
Seconding the motion, the member for Upper Fuladu West, Honorable Bakari Kora, commended the Environment Minister for what he described as a timely and crucial bill.
If you look at the objects and reasons of the bills, have encapsulates a lot of issues that when followed or addressed, we will be able to save our environment. And then the bill seeks to establish a comprehensive and a robust legal framework that promotes the enhancement, protection, conservation, and sustainable management of our environment.
Honorable Fatima Njai of Banjul South moved a motion for the bill to be referred to the Assembly's Business Committee for committal to the appropriate committee for further scrutiny. The motion was adopted. Meanwhile, the scheduled continuation of the consideration stage of the election bill was postponed due to the passing away of the mother of Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dauda A. Jallow, who is guiding the legislative process. Deputy Speaker C.D. S.K. Njai, who chaired the session, expressed his and that of the Parliament's heartfelt condolences to the Minister and his family, while praying for the departed soul to rest in Jannah, inshallah. As a mark of respect, High Court sittings were also cancelled for the day. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Now, following the Ministry of Trade's announcement that bread prices will rise from $10 to $12 from the 1st of July 2025, the National Bakers Association has assured the public of its commitment to comply with the standard requirements agreed upon with stakeholders to ensure consumer satisfaction. Ansmana Esonyasi tells us more.
Although bread may not be the staple food in the Gambia, for many it is a daily essential that is both economic and holds cultural value, and it is the first meal of the day for many families. And while it remains largely available, a recent announcement by the government about a planned increase in the price has raised affordability concerns, especially among low-income families. Lamin Diba and Amadou Tijan Jallo, Secretary General and President of the National Bakers Association, respectively, said the decision to increase the price of a loaf of bread from $10 to $12 was informed by several factors, but mainly due to operational cost.
The reason why we did this was the cost of production at different areas and regions in the country are not the same. We gauged and took certain information directly from the bakery operators in all these regions. When we came back, the data unit at the Competition Commission headed by Mr. Cisse, the DG, and Bas, have also gone through a process to run the data through a system and a particular formula, which was later validated by the team that is the Competition Commission, Ministry of Trade, and also the National Bakers Union.
In the Tapalapa side, having wood at this moment, it is very difficult because they are using firewood to heat their ovens. The flour is another challenge. Then you have the workers itself, because many people are not going through the process to learn it. We don't have a Tibet school whereby we can able to educate people how this process is gone.
They also revealed that the decision was made following a market survey by the Ministry of Trade and the Consumer Protection Commission, and that they held several consultations with stakeholders such as the Gambia Standards Bureau, the Food Safety and Quality Authority, and others before a decision was made.
You can increase bread, but if the increment in grams as agreed has surpassed the increment in price, it's still going to be a challenge within the sector. And what we have taken responsibilities of as leaderships in this is, if we say we are going to increase, the public should see that it is increased.
In the other aspect also, the challenges that we have in the Tapalapa, it is the production side itself, because we need to upgrade it to a standard whereby it is recommended, but it is going to go through a process whereby everybody will understand we are transitioning from this level to another level. Because in other countries, personally, they are using other ovens, and then when they bake bread, it will be just like Tapalapa.
While they acknowledge that these developments may be challenging for their members who are expected to comply with Food Safety, Standard Bureau and Consumer Protection Commission requirements, notably ensuring the weight of bread complies with the new requirements, they say their members have already been informed of the new requirements and that a task force has been established to ensure compliance. While producers have given assurances that measures are in place to ensure the availability and production of quality bread, the Ministry of Trade has issued a stern warning that any individual or entity found producing bread below the agreed weights, 160 grams for Senfur and 190 grams for Tapalapa, will breach the agreement, which will incur the appropriate consequences. It now remains to be seen how effectively the requirements for bakers and vendors will be enforced to safeguard consumer interest. Ansmane Sonyasi for KTV News.
On the commemoration of International Day of Parliamentarianism, National Assembly Member for Kiang West, Honorable Lamin Cisse, joined calls for fair representation of women in Parliament and urged the government to create more opportunities for Gambian women. And Sumana Esonyasi has the story.
Commemorated globally on June 30th annually, International Day of Parliamentarianism is celebrated in honor of the founding of the Inter-Parliamentary Union in 1889, the first political multilateral organization promoting international cooperation. The day is also earmarked by the UN in recognition of parliaments as foundations of democracy. In an interview with QTV, in commemoration of the day, the National Assembly member for Kiang West, Honorable Lamin Cisse, says the day presents a moment for stock-taking on the importance of Parliament in safeguarding democracies and the plight of women, as well as the need to have more women in decision-making institutions such as the National Assembly.
I am not happy that we have only 5 women in the National Assembly and 2 of them are nominated. I'm going to be proud to see 2015 women all elected. I was going to be very happy. Then there will be a fair decision making. Then there will be fair resource allocation as far as our government resources are concerned. Women will get a fair share. Pregnant women, young girls, even older women will get a fair share in terms of national resources and in terms of decision making and all of that.
Speaking on this year's theme, Achieving Gender Equality, Action by Action, Honorable Cisse expresses dissatisfaction over the low number of women in the current legislature, arguing that more needs to be done to ensure more women are elected to Parliament, adding that with more women in Parliament, most of the problems women in the Gambia face will be addressed.
We must ensure that political parties try to institutionalize these things, even in their parties' structures, do you understand? And putting it in their party laws, do you understand? That, as I said, every stronghold of any political party, we negotiate with them to say, okay, this year you have 5 people who applied on behalf of the National People Party and UDP for this said constituency, but this is your stronghold. There's likelihood that 90% you're winning, and that is a competent woman who applied for this. Let's give chance to women.
The NAM for Kiangwes also called for more opportunities for women, especially in employment and education, arguing that to empower women, they need to be given more opportunities. Meanwhile, he also used the occasion to call for more support for girls in schools through the provision of sanitary items and others.
As the globe, is moving, we must have to erase certain concepts, to ensure that we help women and to also assist them in various schools, particularly when it comes to education, to supply sufficient sanitary materials for young girls. It is going to be so disheartening to see young girls going home because they don't have sanitary materials in school.
As the world commemorates International Parliamentarianism Day, female parliamentarians and women's rights advocates are intensifying calls for more empowerment to help promote gender equality, enhance policy making, and foster inclusive and representative democracy. It is also believed that greater female representation in Parliament will lead to the development of policies that are more responsive to the needs of women and help challenge gender stereotypes. Answana Nyasi for KTV News.
We are taking a short commercial break. When we return, we will bring you details on the launch of Gambia's Good Market, the upgraded Banjul International Trade Fair 2.0, and the validation of the IEC's new strategic plan for 2025 to 2029 as the country gears up for the 2026 elections. We'll be right back.
At Ajib Bank, we believe in the power of Africa, the unity of our vibrant continent, and the strength of our connections. And that's why we have teamed up with the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, a revolutionary solution created in Africa for Africa. Now, you can seamlessly send or receive money across the continent, whether it's for business, helping your family abroad, or receiving money from a loved one. We have designed the solution to deliver faster transactions and peace of mind. So, visit us at your nearest Ajib Bank branch or navigate to our website. Start experiencing the seamless, reliable, and instant money transfers of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System today. Ajib Bank, connecting Africa, simplifying payments.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal ne fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taamu gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News, and now to the rest of our stories. On Saturday, the Gambia Startup Chamber of Commerce and the Gambia Women's Chamber of Commerce unveiled Gambia's Good Market, a platform for creative and tourism entrepreneurs. The event also marked the official launch of the Banjul International Trade Fair 2.0, scheduled for 6 to the 31st of December 2025. Here is my report. 30 Gambian entrepreneurs from the tourism and creative sectors gathered at the UN 75 Park in Kotu for the inaugural edition of Gambia's Good Market. The day-long exhibition aimed to connect small businesses with new buyers, partners, and opportunities. The event featured a diverse range of made-in-the-Gambia products, including crafts, food, clothing, and visual art. Partners in this initiative included the International Trade Center and the EU-funded Youth Empowerment Project. But it wasn't just about business. The program also featured live performances, poetry, and storytelling that blended entrepreneurship with cultural expression. KMC Deputy Mayor Binta Jane Jallo said barriers have long held back Gambian women and youths from fully engaging in the economy.
KMC believes in you, and we are committed to ensuring markets like this become cornerstones of our local economy.
Kumbel Gude, chairperson of the board at the Gambia Startup Chamber of Commerce, delivered a joint statement on behalf of both chambers.
Ahead of this debut, GSCC and GWCC provided refresher trainings to enhance customer service skills and heighten social and environmental responsibility awareness amongst the exhibitors.
Beatrice Moj, CEO of the Gambia Women's Chamber of Commerce, and EU Ambassador Emma Roca I. Cortes, emphasized the importance of the event.
This is more than just an event. It is a movement towards regional integration, private sector empowerment, and shared prosperity. We encourage businesses and development organizations collaborate with us and help shape the future of commerce in the Gambia.
The European Union aims at expanding access to skills, tools, and markets for young innovators. Our goal is very clear, is to enhance the competitiveness and of the micro and small medium-sized enterprises and unlock sustainable employment.
Dauda Nyang, senior tourism and creative industries expert at the International Trade Center, commended partners for their support.
This project is funded by the European Union. It's a 5-year project on tourism and creative industries. The GGM here is one of our flagship initiatives, and we're hoping to do it during the 5 years. It's going to be held every month, and we're hoping that there will be creativity. We're hoping that together we will work together to address the barriers of market access.
Kemo Janka is the principal trade economist and She Trades coordinator at the Ministry of Trade.
This event is fully endorsed and supported by the Ministry of Trade, and I took this opportunity to call upon all partners to lend their support. The trade fair will serve as a vibrant platform for SMEs to exhibit their product, network, and forge new business connections.
With the launch of Banjul International Trade Fair 2.0, organizers say the upgraded event will host more vendors and visitors, emphasizing business development, promotion, and networking. Over 400 businesses are expected to participate when it opens this December. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai. Now, as the Gambia prepares for the 2026 electoral cycle, the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, completed a 3-day validation of its new strategic plan 2025 to 2029 at an event held in Jara Soma in the Lower River region. Our regional correspondent, Bakari Balde, reports.
The forum brought together key stakeholders in the electoral process, including the media, civil society organizations, and the Interparty Committee to validate the new strategic plan, which replaces the previous plan which expired in 2024. The event also allowed participants to critically review the Commission's other key policy documents. Parmakan Khan, the Communications Director of the Independent Electoral Commission outlined the importance of the strategic plan.
It's very important that the IEC has a solid document in place that will guide it also to help it to deliver on the electoral cycle, which of course, by next year we'll be running into various activities, including the general registration. Also, we expect to also conduct a referendum, a constitutional referendum. And again, we also have other major activities, including elections, which is a presidential election in 2026.
Joseph Colley, Vice Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, emphasized the importance of stakeholder engagement, teamwork, and effective planning as key elements to achieve the Commission's desired objectives.
As been adjudged, failure to plan may equate to planning to fail. And this, the Commission is quite worried. Hence, our convergence here to solidify a draft strategic plan that will guide the Commission for the next 5 years to pursue, among other goals, inclusivity in the electoral process and institutional strengthening. The Commission is also aware that election is said to be the business of all, and everyone has a stake in it.
Samba Balde is a participant from the Interparty Committee.
The importance of this validation cannot be overemphasized, because every institution, you must have a strategic plan. And the IEC organizing this at this time cannot come at a better time than right now. So this is the place where at least they will make their plans, their activity plans, and so on. And that will help them to work on the electoral system and make us have an election that is credible and worth of a recommendation.
Participants were guided through various thematic areas of the new strategic plan and other related policy documents of the Independent Electoral Commission to enhance their understanding of the framework that will steer the electoral process over the next 5 years. Bakari Balde, QTV News.
Coming up next is Sports News. Now, Doni FC are champions of the Sumakunda Youth and Sports Committee Nawetan title after defeating Tandegba United on penalties in a thrilling final held on Saturday at Sumakunda village in the West Coast region. Our sports reporter Mumudu Gajaga was there, and this is his report.
A pulsating penalty shootout and Doni FC the trophy after scoring all their 5 spot kicks against Tandegba United, who missed one of theirs. Paul Jatta scored the winning penalty, going for power and precision to put it past the keeper. Wild jubilations followed Jatta's celebratory run, sending Doni FC supporters into ecstasy. The exciting match saw both young and veteran players delivering all the trails expected in a football final. Except for goals during regulation time, both sides had numerous chances to break the deadlock and make the scoreline more exciting. But scoring required calmness, composure, and a sharp eye for goal, all of which were missing. One of the most exciting things about the final was the size of the pitch, which is smaller than the normal pitch. The more experienced players seemed to rely on sheer power rather than placement in their goal attempts, which goes some way towards explaining why they all missed their chances during regular play. Doni FC's coach, Ernest Gomez, said they learned from their mistakes in last year's final and made the necessary corrections to emerge champions this time.
I'm actually delighted I'm winning this final today, because last year I went to the same finals and then I was unlucky to win, and I just stood here and promised that come this year I will see myself into the final, and yet I'm going to lift the trophy.
Tandegba United's head coach, Samuel Gomez, said luck was not on their side in the final, noting that they had convincingly beaten Doni FC 5-0 in the group stages.
Yeah, we had the chances, but today is just our bad day, because in football we have a winner and losers. At times you play, you win, at times you play, you lose.
Paul Jatta is the captain of Doni FC, who scored the winning penalty. He said how it feels to be a champion after their disappointing end last season.
I'm so much excited. Last year, we were in the final, but we couldn't make it. We are unlucky. We play against Badala. They won us 1-0. Then we are into the final this year, and I tell my guys that this year is do or die. We can be in the finals for back-to-back, and then we have to lose it. So we thank Almighty God for bringing us into the final, and we are champions this year.
Lamin Kujabi, chairman of the Sumakunda Youth and Sports Committee, said what it means to organize the Nawetan for players in his community.
We have seen the very entertaining match, and the players have shown their skills, what they can able to do. And also we are preparing better. But this time we also, the Sumakunda Football Committee, want to participate in Combo East and inter-village football competition.
The match showed the passion and the talent thriving within the Sumakunda community. With lessons learned and spirits high, Doni FC looked poised to defend their title next season, while Tendagba United will surely be eager for a chance at revenge and redemption. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Congratulations to Doni FC. Now, before we end, here is a recap of the headlines. The National Assembly has moved a step closer to repealing the country's environmental legal framework as lawmakers convene on Monday for the second reading of the National Environment Management Bill 2025. Following the Ministry of Trade's announcement that bread prices will rise from $10 to $12 from the 1st of July 2025, the National Bakers Association has assured the public of its commitment to comply with the agreed standard requirements for bread. On the commemoration of International Day of Parliamentarianism, National Assembly member for Kiang West, Honorable Lamin Sisi, joined calls for fair representation of women in Parliament and for government to create more opportunities for Gambian women. On Saturday, the Gambia Star Chamber of Commerce and the Gambia Women's Chamber of Commerce launched Gambia's Good Market, a platform for creative and tourism sector entrepreneurs. And in sports news, Doni FC are champions of the Sumakunda Youth and Sports Committee Nawetan title after defeating Tandekba United on penalties at the weekend. This is all we have for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for another News Bulletin. Thank you for watching.